Hello and good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday and I'm back in Göttingen actually. You can barely see it down there. I'm not used to any kind of uphill anymore. That wasn't even uphill down there. That was nothing. It's embarrassing. I haven't hiked in forever and I haven't trained in a little while. The only thing I could do so far was Pilates, but my life is just so rough and stressful at the moment that I have barely time to work out and make sure that I'm okay. But today I decided I'm gonna do that because I'm back in Göttingen. Uni started 2 days ago. It's been fine. I'm feeling a little antisocial because I'm not really up to any small talk and no deep talk, so I'm kind of just doing my own thing. And we got some bad news and some good news. The bad news are that Dylan's family dog was put down last night, which is super sad. He was such a cutie and my thoughts are with them. That must have been really hard. Dylan was with him, it seems. I haven't talked to him yet, but I'm just waiting for his call any moment. The good news are, it's Wednesday and on Friday, so in 2 days, Dylan is gonna be here and we're finally together for 2 to 3 months again, which is nice. It's been 2.5 months that I've seen him last, so I can't wait. I really cannot wait. The house or the apartment at the moment is a huge mess because I just got here 2 days ago and I don't know about you, but when I get somewhere and I haven't fully unpacked, it's awful. It's really awful. So I have to clean it and I have to put everything aside, make it nice, grocery shop and pick him up because I want him to get there and just feel homey again and not be completely overwhelmed by my mess. But that's the plan so far. This morning I just felt like going out for a little hike. It's actually kind of cute. I'm excited to go further because there's some cows down there. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm excited to see them. I'm just loving animals. It doesn't matter if it's part of a livestock or not, like they're worth the same and I just love to encounter them at any point. When I started hiking I already saw a wren and I saw a woodpecker. That was awesome, just like 4 minutes into it. That was really cool. Anyway, I just thought I'd take you along and talk to you for a little bit because like I said, life has been rough lately, and even though Dylan is coming back soon, I know we're gonna be apart from each other for 4 to 5 months after that. That's tough, and that made me rethink why does our long distance relationship even work at all, because it's tough. It's not an easy thing to do. And what keeps our mind up, what keeps us being positive about it, and what do we do or try how to view it so we're not feeling miserable all the time we spend apart. And I thought I'm gonna share that with you. So if you are distant from your partner at the moment and you feeling a little lonely and upset, I totally get you. But we have to change the point of view and not be miserable because life is too short for that. So we want to see how we can shift that mindset into something positive and view the positive side of things today. Hello there. I'm actually just trying to find a nice spot and sit down and chat with you because I feel like this might be probably super loud, just hearing my boots and just the wind and all that and the birdies. But I can't find anything. Everything seems to be still wet. And that means we have to hike a little longer to find a good spot. Also brought some coffee, so I'm ready. I was so excited to get out this morning that I haven't even had one sip of coffee yet. So Dylan just talked to me. It seems like, yeah, expectingly it was really hard. But it also apparently was good. And yeah, I think we can just all imagine what good in that case means. But he's excited to be home and leave that part behind. And I can't, again, wait for him to be here. I'm really excited. This is going to be our last month in our apartment together. And it's been really special to us. It's been the first apartment we ever moved in together. So it's going to be sad to let it go, but we're ready for the next chapter. So, first of all, let's talk. I think a big factor in a long distance relationship is time. Because once you're together again, you barely have time for yourself because you want to use that time together and turn into quality time to make the most out of it because you've been apart from each other for so long. So once your partner leaves, you basically gain all that time back and you're more dedicated to put it into something. That's at least how I feel, and I think there are 3 main things that I'm investing my time in once Dylan is gone, and I think it's awesome. The first thing is hobbies. Just going back to your old hobbies is one thing. If you go to the gym, for example, and all of a sudden you got all that free time, instead of going only 2 times a week to the gym when your boyfriend is there or girlfriend or whoever, you start going back 5-6 times a week. Like, I'm more dedicated back then because you just don't want to feel bored and you just find your happiness in those hobbies. And I think what's even the best is being bored when your partner is gone in the evening and you've done your usual hobbies, and all of a sudden you sit there and think, dang, what am I about to do now? Just start the next Netflix show? I don't think so. I remember starting a running challenge with a friend of mine when Dylan was gone. I came to a point where I bought brushes and a canvas and just started painting again. I never painted with acrylic colors before, so that was really fun. I started drawing again. Recently I started knitting. I'm doing my own scarf at the moment. Like, I did that when I was a child, but I haven't done that in a long time. And I only had the time to do it because that free time I didn't want to spend with my partner because my partner was basically just not there. So yeah, I kind of love that about long distance. Just listening to yourself and find hobbies again and not just going back to the old ones. I think another really big one is just being with friends and family again as well. Because yeah, when you're with your partner, you still meet up with your friends and family, but it's different. It's not, you don't have all the focus on your friend because you're in this bigger group all of a sudden and you still keep paying attention to your partner. And you just have more intimate talks and you reconnect way more. And I have that with friends, I have that with my sisters and my mom. And it's just really special to me, especially knowing that next year when I'm gonna move, that time is gonna be rare. We're not gonna see each other that more often. And we're probably gonna see each other a lot when Dylan is going to be around. So I'm just trying to make the most of it. I'm trying to enjoy it. I'm trying to be grateful for it. And I think that's something really to hold on to and really, yeah, it's really precious. The next one might sound a little selfish, actually, but I think it's so true. Once your partner is gone, you have that time again to focus on school, uni, your work, your business, whatever it is, and to check off all the boxes you didn't get to do while your partner was there. Because again, start to have all this quality time with your partner, you kind of want to catch up on the time you missed, so you don't invest your time in anything else, not as much, depending on how your long distance relationship is set up. But for me, that's sometimes a long period, because Dylan and I are apart for 3 months at times or longer, and then we're together for 2-3 months. So yeah, there are just these long periods when I don't really get to do anything, and then you have those big gaps again where I catch up on everything, and it just feels so good. I'm this type of person that has this to-do check-off list, and once Dylan is gone, it's all ticked off. So I think time is a really big factor, and I know it's hard to feel lonely and bored, but I think once you shift that mindset, once you see it from a different point of view, it's so precious, because it's not gonna be like that forever. Probably you're probably only in a long distance relationship for I don't know, a few years, and then that's over, and you're in this normal day-to-day relationship and handle things as usual. And yeah, just don't really have those two extremes, but I think those two extremes can be really, really helpful for you as an individual and as a couple. Actually, as a couple, there's one more thing I want to talk about, but I feel like the lighting is not really good here, so I want to keep hiking just a little bit, have a little bit more of my coffee and just chill. And then I'm gonna share the next 2 things that I can think of why I even should feel lucky to have our relationship set up this way, basically. Okay, I think that was the first time I waited for the sun to be gone instead of coming out. But we found another spot before we're heading home. And I think, where did we leave off? We left off on time, basically. We talked about hobbies, we talked about friends and family, and we talked about career. And I think the most precious thing about this type of relationship is something that's really important in every relationship. It's communication. Communication is key, everybody. You have to communicate with your partner. I swear on it. If you don't, it's a big mess. It's gonna come out sooner or later, but it's a big mess. And it's, from my point of view, it's irresponsible. It's irresponsible to everybody. I just seen the effects of that, and yeah, it's so easy to prevent this type of situation I'm finding myself in right now, and many other people that are close to me. Anyway, that's a different topic. Communication. I think Dylan and I always were pretty good in communicating, because this is how we basically met. We met when I was still unavailable, and we had the PCT sort of together, just because we kept running in and out of each other in the end before I have to go off because I had my foot broken second time. But yeah, we then spent some time together afterwards, and were apart before we even knew what kind of thing we were. And our relationship only happened because we kept in touch, and because we always loved to talk to each other and listen to each other, and it's always been a really big part of our relationship. But because we've been apart, that was also the only thing we were able to connect through. If you're in a long distance relationship, there's nothing else for you left but to talk and to be there for each other, to listen, and to only be part of each other's life by communicating what happened throughout the day and how you're feeling. And I think that is so helpful for your relationship in general and for just later on. Because once we moved in together, we of course still had those little struggles of where's the towel supposed to hang, and I'm doing it this way and that's the right way, and no, this is the wrong way. And I think just being honest and, I don't know, just talking the truth and talk how you feel emotionally and why you've done certain things, and that you also have been in the wrong or you've just been stubborn. I think this is something we all have to learn and we all struggle with in every relationship. But because, yeah, talking to each other was the only thing left for half of the time or even more than that in our relationship. And that's something we always were able to improve because we had to do it and we have to practice that. And yeah, and I think this is why our relationship is so good. It is the key to why we're so happy with each other, and I hope it's the key of staying that way. So highly recommend it in every kind of relationship. But I think we, like people in a long distance relationship, can really make the most of that. And I remember seeing videos where, what are they called? People that coach others being in a relationship or falling in love or whatever. Those coaches said, hey, you shouldn't talk that much to your partner. You shouldn't talk all the time, because then later on, if you see each other, you don't really have to talk something. You don't really have something to talk about anymore. And I don't feel like that's true. Maybe if your long distance relationship is more of a weekend kind of thing and you caught up through everything during the week and then you don't really have something else left to talk about on the weekend. I don't know if that's the case. I think Dylan and I talk every day, 2 times a day, like in the early morning and evening. And I remember last year, all of a sudden he told me about this little girl in the neighborhood. He taught how to skateboard for the last 3 months, like throughout the whole summer. And I was like, wait a second, that's what you've been doing every day after work? And he was like, yeah. And I said, I had no idea about this. And I got really upset, not at him, but about the situation, because that made me realize again, I'm not part of his life. I don't know what he's up to. And it is not about being controlling or anything, but yeah, that just puts you back and realize, yeah, you both have different lives, and the only way to share those lives is by talking about it. And yeah, of course, then he did, and we kept talking about it. But I think it's so important to not have those moments and to not feel left out of somebody's life, because yeah, you're together, you're in a relationship together, so you're part of each other's life and you want it to be that way. So communication is key. Ooh. Leaf coming down. The very last thing I can think of, which is more of a how can I describe it? I think the last thing that is really good for you, like for yourself, being in a long distance relationship and ends up being really good for you as a couple, is having all that time to reflect. If you're not with your partner, you're all of a sudden in your own life and you're not dependent on each other's happiness as much in the moment. If you kind of get what I mean. It's hard to say what I'm trying to say, but you're basically all of a sudden separated and you find yourself alone. So you have to entertain yourself alone and you have to find happiness in your own life again. And if you're not happy and only miserable and sad that your partner is gone, it is normal to a certain degree. But I would sit down and reflect my own life and think, am I happy with my life? Am I happy with the way I'm living my life? Because that's a big question, and I feel like you should always answer that in a relationship or not. But you have more time to do that and a better time to do that when you're in a long distance relationship and all of a sudden you're all by yourself again. I think you have a clear mind then, you have the time to do that, and it's easier to reflect because it's more present. And yeah, that could be your job. Are you happy with your job and what you're doing? Are you bored too much? Do you have friends you can spend and want to spend your time with? Are they good friends or not? how are those relationships? Do you have hobbies that make yourself happy, or are you just sitting at home being bored all the time, missing your partner? Because if that's the case, you put a lot of pressure on your partner. You put him in a position that he is the only way to make your life a happy life. And it is somewhat sweet in a certain way, but only to a tiny degree. Because if you're happy with your life, it is so much easier to be with your partner and care for each other and be there and share each other's life in order to be happier together. And I think this is something we all lack on at times. We all try to find happiness in somebody else and in their life, but yeah, it's a lot of pressure on them, and they are in the same position. So yeah, I think that sums it up. I think we had 5 points now, actually. The 5 tips I can give you to have a happy time being apart from your long distance relationship partner. Yeah, we had friends, family, hobbies, your career, we had the communication part with your partner, and reflecting your life. And I think those are really good things for you to grow as an individual and to grow as a couple, and sums it up. And I think I have to remind myself of that too. And once I do, it's so much easier to not already be upset when your partner is coming over, because that sometimes it sneaks in a little bit that your partner is about to be here and you're already upset about them leaving, because you know how that feels like and how painful that is. But if you try to view that time as, I don't know, some time just for yourself, it's like a, I don't want to say spa day, but yeah, just some time to be with yourself, to enjoy yourself and have a different life from the life with your partner. And I think that's so cool to have, and you should enjoy it as long as you can. And yeah, that's a reminder for me, and hopefully a good tip for you. And I hope you're happy in your relationship and happy in your life, and if you're not, then I hope you find something that is gonna improve it. So I'm gonna spend the rest of the day going back on track, basically, by eating well and by organizing my stuff at home, cleaning my apartment, reaching out to people I have to reach out to, and getting ready for Dylan to be back. So love you. I'm gonna finish my coffee and go back home. Auf Wiedersehen.